Hi everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So for today's video, we will be doing a Why Did We Choose UCLA video.
The UCs are starting to send out their acceptance letters, and we wanted to do this video so that you can know our experience going through that.
So for those high schoolers out there, if you apply to UC, we hope you get into whatever college you want to go to, and if you apply to UCLA, we hope you get into.
Yeah. So for my experience, I always knew about UCLA because I live in the LA area, and I've been on field trips like for all of high school. We had field trips every year, and I would always sign up for them. So I would always come to campus, but the tours weren't, like, they showed only a small portion of UCLA, but I knew it was a good school, one of the best top schools, and when I applied, I only applied to UCs and one private school and then one Cal State. So my options, the ones that I applied to, were UC Santa Cruz, UC Irvine, Riverside, Berkeley, and UCLA. And I always loved UCLA. That's the one I knew the most. I always visited, as I said. And yeah, once I got accepted, like, there was no question about it.
For me, I lived in the Central Valley for during my high school years, and the school never brought me to UCLA, but during my sophomore year, I started thinking about which college I would want to go to, and a lot of people would be like, oh, I want to go to UCLA, and I didn't want to because I was like, I don't want to go where everybody's going to go or where everybody wants to go. I just didn't want that. So it was like completely off the list. I'd never even like looked it up. But then I joined this club called the Central Valley Project, and I joined in my junior year. So at the end of the year, they brought us to the school. We slept over in the dorms, and as soon as I stepped onto the campus, I just fell in love with it, and I was like, wow, like, now I understand why people would want to come here. And yeah, the people here that I met what that day, like the mentors and stuff, I really liked them, and they just made me feel at home, and it was just a really nice environment for me. So then my senior year, I also came, and I had already been accepted to UCLA, so there was no question about it, and yeah, I was just for sure coming here. But before getting accepted to UCLA, I didn't even think I was going to get in. I was really set on to UC Santa Barbara. I was like, that's where I'm gonna go, and I went to like meet the chancellor and everything. I was seriously decided on that school because the UCLA sent out the acceptance letter after UC Santa Barbara, so I didn't even think that UCLA would accept me. But once UCLA accepted me, I just started doing a bunch of research, and just because I was so set on to UC Santa Barbara that I kind of started to fall in love with it, even though I had never been there in person at that time. And yeah, now that I'm here, I don't regret choosing UCLA at all.
For me, I knew I wanted to go to college, but I don't know which one. I kind of didn't do my research, so I was just hoping for the best, and I just thought whichever accepts me, I'll go there. I originally wanted to go far away from home because I didn't want to be home anymore. I wanted to be independent and live the college experience like to the max, like for being away from home. But like, I had braces, so I ended up deciding to stay close to home because I would have to return for the appointments. I know it sounds like a silly reason, but I'm really glad that that happened, because that influenced my decision to stay close to home, because I mean, I don't regret coming here at all. I grew up next to another local university here in Southern California, and I knew I didn't want to be there because it was way too close to home. Since this was the only campus I came to, I fell in love with it. As Diana said, it's a really beautiful campus, and I really vibed with the people who I met here on that one day I came, and I was just like, okay, let's do it. It was just kind of a spur of the moment. I didn't really think it through. I had kind of wanted to go instead to UC Santa Cruz, just because is by the forest or something. And that was like like one of the, I was just basing it off of like somewhere just based off the campus and how it looked online. And I mean, I'm thankful. I haven't visited yet, but I mean, I'm here and I fit in, and that's good.
Fortunately, I was able to get a scholarship. I was in a program in high school that started in 10th grade called the VIPS program. And there's two parts in the program. You either get accepted into the Saturday Academy, which is where you meet only every quarter on Saturdays at UCLA, or you do the summer program, which includes the Saturday Academy, and you also stay at UCLA in the summer. For I think the first summer from 10th to 11th grade is 2 weeks, and then the last summer is 5 weeks. So I only got into the Saturday Academy, but when you're in that, and if you only get the scholarship if you get into UCLA and if you go there. So the Saturday Academy scholarship is $10,000, which is distributed throughout the whole 4 years. So once I got into UCLA, I was like, oh my god, like thank God, that helps a lot. And like literally right when I got in, I was calculating how am I gonna pay for this. And like they gave us an EFAN, a financial letter that tells us how much financial aid we get, grants and scholarships. And so I got my journal, like I literally calculated how much is it gonna cost to, like, tuition is covered because of if your family makes under, I believe, $80,000, tuition is covered. So that was okay. I just had to find out how am I going to pay for housing, how much is it going to cost, what should I choose, what meal plan. So I was calculating, and it really helped a lot. Like that was a big factor why I came to UCLA, also because it's a great school. But that was a great thing. Like God bless the VIPS program.
In my experience financially, I got a full ride to UC Davis. So that was one of the schools that just financially I was considering. But then after getting a lot of the scholarships that I received, I knew that the whole money issue wasn't going to be a problem. But the reason why I did choose UCLA was because just like all the other UCs, my parents make under $80,000, so my tuition's fully covered. But the scholarships and everything else was able to pay for my housing. So I am very, very grateful for that. So financially, I feel like had I chose UC Davis, I would have had everything covered, and I would have been pretty much like the same way, maybe had like a lot more extra money. But I really fell in love way much more with UCLA, and I was like, you know what, if I can pay for it and if there's a way, then I'm gonna be fine. And yeah, I mean, it's a good school.
In my experience, I wasn't really counting on going to college, so I didn't even search for scholarships. And the few that I did, they were like last minute because like our counselor never advised us to do so, and like it was just, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, why would I even apply? It's not gonna be worth it. I'm not even gonna get it. So that was kind of like my own downfall. But so financially, I knew that regardless of where I go, I knew I'd have to like end up, it wouldn't be financially secure. But like assessing my options, coming to a public university it seemed like the best option, because I didn't know at the time that private universities usually give more financial aid to families of like lower income. And so that was like my biggest factor. I thought private universities, I had to take like thousands of dollars in loans, and I didn't know like how that worked out. And so maybe financially this wasn't the best option for me. But when I received the acceptance letter, I remember this like it was yesterday. I was at the laundry with my mom, and I was just like refreshing the webpage like every like 5 minutes, just checking like, oh, did I get in? And like just the fact of me being so anxious and receiving that letter, I realized, wow, I guess I really do want to go here. This is like the one I'm most excited for. I actually cried. I was really excited because my mom, she got to visit it with me one day too. Oh, on Bruin Day. Yeah, we both fell in love with it.
Another factor that played into me attending UCLA was majors. So I don't know if everyone knows, but before you actually get accepted, you have to choose your major, and you have like a list of majors that you choose. And the schools that I really wanted out of the UCs were UC Irvine and UCLA. Those were my top ones. And for UC Irvine, they actually didn't accept me for my major, so I would have come in undeclared. But UCLA had accepted me for the major that I wanted, so that was also a plus, like why I would go to UCLA instead of UC Irvine.
For me, UCLA did not have the major I wanted. I wanted liberal studies, but they didn't have that major. But they had a bunch of other majors and minors that I was like, you know what, I can find something that I'll like. And I just really wanted to come here. So yeah, based off the classes I've taken, even like GEs and other classes, I found out so much that I feel like I wouldn't have learned at other universities. I'm not saying like that other UCs don't show what this one shows or anything, but I just feel like there's so much that you can choose from, and that was a big plus for me. When I saw the list of majors, I was like, you know what, I can find something. I applied as a psychology major, and I never even took a class in psychology because I knew I didn't even want that major. Whenever I applied to UCLA, I chose that randomly because yes, it sounded interesting to me, but I knew I wasn't going to pursue it. And then you can also do undeclared, but I don't know why I did psychology. I just did it. Actually, I did want to become a psychologist at a point, but then I knew that wasn't truly what I wanted. I was more interested in education. So yeah, and thank God, like I found the courses that are able to teach me about education and all of that. So
I was advised to apply as undeclared, especially because I really had no idea what I wanted to do, and like my counselor had said, like you shouldn't apply to like the engineering school or nursing because like there's lower chances of getting in because usually the students who get accepted already have some type of background in that. I decided to apply as undeclared under the College of Letters and Sciences. It's difficult to explain how like switching majors and all that works out, so if you guys would like to watch a video on that, be sure to comment below and let us know. We'd be happy to do one.
If any of you don't already know, I'm a huge fan of sports, so that was another reason why I wanted to come to UCLA, because they're so, like, we're the best, not the best, but we're really good. Yeah, for the most part, we're really good at like every sport here. So I wanted to be involved, like watch all the games, even though I don't really because there's not a lot of time, but that was a factor why I wanted to come here. And I play soccer. I used to play club, and I always wanted to play at college too. I didn't make it into like the actual team, but I still play like I am for fun, and I love how they offer so many sports here. And I've been to a couple games, and I plan on going to more next year for my senior year. But yeah, that was the main reason. Like I don't watch a lot, but I love watching it. I get so excited, and the competitiveness, like how competitive it is, especially for UCLA, that makes me really happy.
for me, once I got accepted and everything, and I started doing my research, I would look up videos of UCLA, and sports would always come out, and just the spirit that the school had, it was so much spirit, and it just made me feel so pumped, and I was like, yes, the environment is so live and everything. And yeah, if you go to games and stuff, it depends which ones you go to, like they can get very full of spirit and stuff. So, and also, as I mentioned earlier, I was in the Central Valley Project as a high school student, and I knew they had it here at UCLA, obviously. So I knew I wanted to become involved and sort of go back to my own community and help. So that was also another reason why. Another
factor that like made me be interested even more is that I believe we're still the #1 university like with the most undergraduate like clubs and organizations. So like I was just overwhelmed with like the endless possibilities that they had said that there would be, and there's like wear shorts every day club, and like I was especially interested in the Quidditch team here because I was really into Harry Potter, but I mean I haven't gone yet to see, but someday I'll be there. I'll go and check it out.
If you don't already know, I'm from Pasadena, so it's not that far. It's like 40 minutes without traffic, but there's always traffic. So it's 2 hours, and I love like it's not too close to home where I have to commute, but it's far enough for me to actually be here. And like Karina said earlier, I get to experience the dorm life, And I just want to be able to live on campus and really be close to school so I could be more involved, because it is harder when you're commuting and living at home because you don't get to stay for like late for clubs or meetings, or there's a lot of things that to be involved in at school, and I don't want to miss out on anything. And because of my financial situation with the scholarships, it made it more possible for me to live at the dorms. UCLA guarantees 3 years of housing, which I think is amazing because other schools such as UC Berkeley only guarantee 1 year of housing. So that's that's really hard. So that I like that they have that security for housing here, and then we have enough time. We get to grow, and for us, we're gonna be 4th years next year. So I feel like we're more ready to have that apartment life. Like we've had that time away from home, and we've grown a lot, so now we're ready.
Yeah, for me, I am again from the Central Valley, but I wanted to get out of there for college. I just wanted to leave the Central Valley. Not that I hate the Central Valley, like a lot of people do. They say, I hate it, I want to get out of here. And I did want to get out of there, but I wanted to get out of there to see a different way of living, different perspectives, just to open my mind much more. Which, yes, my mind is totally more open now. And also, and to be able to take whatever I learned from here and give it back to the Central Valley. So that's why I chose to go far away, but I also didn't want to go too far. So, the longest it's taken me is 7 hours to get to the house, to get home, and the least it's taken me is like 2 hours and a half. So it varies, but it's not like a whole day away or something, and it's not across the country, so I can go home if I really need to. And then I also don't have to go home as often. That way, like, I get to actually live my life here and become more independent. And also, it's only like 7 miles away from the beach.
Yeah,
like
five.
Yeah. So it's like 5-7 miles away from the beach. So there's a lot to do, and also I'm not a big fan of like the city life or whatever. But UCLA is a little bit more isolated from the city, so I don't know. It's different, and you wouldn't know unless you're like living here. It's still it has a little bit of the city life, but it's not completely like you're out there living in the city. Like, I know other colleges, they're right off the city, and this one's a little bit different. So it still has its own, like, it's like its own little bubble, and I really like that.
Although UCLA is still relatively close to my home, it's still far enough for me to like have a different experience, because where UCLA is located like in West LA, which is kind of like the more bougie area, and so it's definitely a different vibe. Like growing up, I hadn't really come over to this area, so it was also new to me, and it's good to be close to home as well, because sometimes I forget something, and it's just like I try not to go home too often though, because I want to make the most out of like paying for housing here. But it's good, and I mean, growing up here, I already know the weather is great. It's like sunny 360 days of the year, maybe 5 days rain. But yeah, it's really.
Before, I would go on field trips like every year in high school to UCLA. And the more I got more and more familiar, and once I got more familiar, I noticed like little parts where I've seen those places before, and then they film a lot of movies at UCLA. Like for example, one of my favorites, Legally Blonde, and they shoot like by Kirkhoff, right? Like Kirkhoff. Yeah, that's like where they check in, and it's really cool to actually be there. And there's like a lot of movies. I don't know if you guys know Old Guys. It's really funny, but they have that too. They have parts like, obviously they show other schools like in Legally Blonde, sorry. In Legally Blonde they show UCLA and Harvard, and in Old Guys they show UCLA and USC. And yeah, like it's really cool to actually be on the campus where they filmed. And you get like every time you watch movies, sometimes I didn't even notice it was filmed here. Like, oh my god, like that's my school, and like I pause it and like, wow, like I walked through there, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like some scenes from like How I Met Your Mother came.
Yeah, and the House Bunny.
I know, all of those movies. And Dear White People, it's also like everything was filmed here.
A lot of so it's a pretty iconic campus.
Yeah.
So, if we haven't convinced you yet,
Come
come to
to
UCLA!
Thank you so much for watching our video. If you have any more questions about UCLA and why we chose, don't hesitate to comment below. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.